Take 5,733. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna Crossland and today I'm reviewing that foundation that I hauled in my Shop Miss A haul recently. They came out with a brand new foundation from AOA Studio and it's called Prowear Full Coverage Foundation, and this retails for under $2. I believe it's like $1.88, and they have a decent range of colors. I think they have about like 5 in the light range, 5 in the medium, and 5 in the dark. I'm sorry about all the background noise, but I do have my dog down here and Declan. My mom had to fly back to Arizona and my husband is still gone for training. Even though they're completely done, they're still keeping them there, so it's really awesome. Anyways, I did pick up a color that was way too light. It's so hard for me to even tell by the swatches or just be able to tell my color in general, but I did pick up buff and I should have picked up not buff, so I will probably end up picking up another color. I did review initially this one. It was their first foundation that everyone raved about. This one's called the Satin Buildable Foundation, and I did a full in-depth review. I'll link it down below if you're interested in it. And I got pure beige in this one. It was too dark. Yes, sweetie.
I dropped this.
You dropped that? Thanks, Declan. You dropped this. Okay, so already you're getting way more foundation in this one. You're getting 1 ounce, which is pretty much the same that you get from the drugstore, because I was kind of like, oh, well, you only get 0.64, but you could still buy 2 and it'd still be a little bit cheaper than the drugstore. But this one you're getting like what you get from the drugstore, even though it doesn't look at it. Look how tiny it is. First of all, I hated the older packaging. It is a dropper and it just gets so messy, and since it's so liquidy, it's just like a disaster, honestly. I hated using the dropper, but it is a decent foundation. It is the more natural skin finish foundation. You found an egg? You're so cool. Okay. So this one I filmed and it's okay. I haven't really used it just because it is so messy, and I got this one in pure beige and it was too dark for me. This new one I got in the color buff and it's too light for me. I think I could kind of make it work once I put on my like contour bronzer and stuff. Does that tickle? Your pants are falling down. Oh, thank you. He just handed me this. I don't know. Do I need it in my hair right now? No. I think I'm going to try and do most of this as a voiceover. He's sticking his face in the umbrella light saying cheese. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going to get into the voiceover part here as much as I can. I'm really sorry. This foundation is called the Prowear Foundation, and it is claimed to be full coverage to semi-matte finish, and it is available in 15 different shades. It is over $1 because they do support different charities helping fight testing against animals, and it tells a little bit more about that on the back. It is a squeeze too, which I absolutely love. The formula is definitely thicker than the last foundation consistency, very creamy. It's easy to blend out, but a little bit more difficult. So I'm actually taking this on my Miss AOA sponge. This is the microfiber sponge, and oh my gosh. First of all, super light. Second of all, do you see that coverage? That is some full coverage. I don't even know if I would say that's medium. It was full on coverage, and I was so shocked. It was insane. I don't think I've used a foundation with such full coverage in a very long time, so I was very, very impressed. A little bit goes a long way. I really only used 1 small drop to cover this area. I feel like if you use a brush, a foundation brush, it would spread easier on your face and you wouldn't have to use as much product. But I do feel like you could mix this into your foundations as well if you don't want quite that amount of coverage. But I was quite impressed, especially for how cheap it is. I think the only other foundation I've ever used that has quite this coverage is like the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation, and yeah, it's pretty intense. It does have I would agree with the statement of the semi-matte finish. It's not completely matte. It's a little bit more satin mixed with matte. I used 3 drops to cover up my entire face. I was checking for transfer because it did dry down to like a powder. As you can see, it settled around my nose area a lot, and it kind of accentuated my scarring on my face, like where I have acne or scars from chickenpox back in the day. But full coverage, man. Full coverage. I did not powder after applying it. I feel like it dried down almost to a powder finish, enough that I don't feel like I need a powder. I don't think you would need to powder unless you have very oily skin. Otherwise, I think you'd be okay. I do have more on the drier side of skin, but it dries down so nice that I feel like you don't need to powder, which is nice because then you don't need a bunch of excess product on your face. I was extremely surprised by the coverage. It's full coverage. It really is. And it's been a long time since I've used a full coverage foundation, so I was just really surprised and impressed. It does cling to certain areas, but for the most part, once I have it all laid out, I feel like it did settle into my skin more, and it doesn't like accentuate my pores. It clings a little bit around my nose and around my smile line, but I mean, it is so cheap. I love this one 500 times more than I love the other one. I loved the skin finish of the other one, and I think it's beautiful, but I just feel like this one would last longer on my skin type. Thank you. He found a heart. And I just really like the finish of it. Thank you, sweetheart. I think it would even be nice to mix with other foundations, but I will definitely be... I think it's a good foundation. Obviously, this is first impressions. I don't know how long it will last. But yeah, it looks very smooth once I have everything on top of it. I could at first notice that it was clinging, but it is starting to sort of settle more, you know, once you like have a foundation on more and your oils kind of adapt to it, I guess. I don't know. Mama. I didn't use a primer or anything either. I really like it. And I was a little bit like doubtful just because it's under $2, but I'll be buying more of these. I highly recommend them. Super affordable if you like full coverage. I feel like there's always a give and take. If you want full coverage, you're going to have a little bit more of that cake face kind of happen. I don't mean that it looks like your cake face, but you're always going to have more of that kind of clinginess to different areas of your face, I feel like. So it's kind of give or take. For full coverage, I think this is not bad how much it does cling. And it does, I feel like this would last quite a while. I haven't tested it, but just based off of like touching it, there is transfer, but not like a ton. I hope this was somewhat informative to you, but my son is trying to open up all of my props. He's asking me for help to do it too, so I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I hope this was again somewhat helpful, and I hope you guys have a great day. And again, I like it. I like it a lot.